Today I want to talk to you about the people of many masks, the shapeshifters, whatever you want to call it, also known as the chameleon, INFJ. There's a lot of different names you could attach to that, all because there's so many different faces that can be attached to that as well, people. We are the INFJs, and we seem to be known for the shape-shifting, the chameleons, and why we do that. This is Tom, and this is the INFJ experience, and I want to talk to you a little bit about what that is today, okay? So, the ability to have many, many faces, or many masks. Remember that song with the Doors, The End, and Jim Morrison says, he took a face from the ancient gallery and he walked on down the hall, and and kind of that song kind of reminds me of that. Okay, the gallery of masks. Yeah, that's pretty much what we got. I mean, hypothetically, of course. So why do we do that? Why do we chameleon? I'm going to tell you why we're doing that, people. And a lot of times I think we're not really doing it. We're almost doing it because we're almost unaware that we're doing it. I mean, it's part of a personality. And by being aware of this is the best thing we can do. All right. The reason is because of our alignments. I mean, basically, okay, we're introverted and we're intuitive, and we have our extroverted feeling. That's pretty much where it is. The fact that we're empaths as well. We absorb the energies. We absorb emotions from people. All right. So when we're around other people and we're trying to adapt, and of course, our FE is limitless. Our FE has no boundary. And I've discussed this in other factors, is that it is limitless to how far it wants to go to adapt, how far it wants to go to harmonize. All right. And so it's going to go all out of its way in order to harmonize with other people, in order to make them feel accepted, make them feel. So a lot of times we're not actually shape-shifting for ourselves. We're doing this for the people around us. We're actually doing it for their sake because we're trying to let them feel like they're accepted. We want them to feel like they're having a good time, that they're in a good mood, and they're in harmony kind of thing. And so we're doing it for them. All right. In the long run, though, we're doing this, and it's at a deficit because we're becoming somebody we're not, even that we're not. Okay. And at the moment, we may feel as though we're something like we finally found our niche. We're making people happy. We're kind of making people feel at ease. We have this ability to shapeshift, and we're able to make people feel like they're having a good time. We're harmonizing, and that's what we do. All right, but at the expense of becoming somebody else that we are not. I mean, basically, you're putting on that mask to do it, and you're taking away from who you are in order to be that. So you got to be aware of that. And just understand that because we're absorbing these emotions, we are the empaths, we're with the people around them, and we're feeling them. We might be taking them on as ours, feeling of it as ours. And so we're going to start trying to adapt, and we start shape-shifting because that's what we feel is our emotions. So we're going to start basically mimicking who's around us, in a sense. So ultimately, this will start taxing on us. It's going to start putting us in, it's going to start messing and confusing with our mind if we're not aware of what we're doing. And that's where I think it hurts. As your younger INFJs especially, because you don't know this, and I've done this many times as a younger man, and I went through my whole life not knowing who I was. But there was times when I was in my teenage years where I wanted to be accepted, wanted to have more girlfriends, wanted to have a friend group, just wanted to fit in, wanted to be like one of the guys, just one of the people that I had with. And yes, there were many times where I kind of did the old shapeshifter thing in order to fit in. But it does come at a price, because you go into your shadow functions because you're being somebody that you're not. You're going into shadow functions because you're all of a sudden extending yourself out too far. You're starting to be too accommodating. You're starting to be too much like the life of the party, which ultimately is going to extend you out and put you into your jet lag because you're burning out. You're going to just be going out too long, extending yourself out too long, and you're going to start burning yourself out if you're not aware of what's going on. So ultimately, yes, these are things you just have to be aware of, is when you're starting to shapeshift, and there's ability that it's going to start playing on you. And ultimately, the fact is that you're becoming somebody else. You're not yourself. You should be accepted and should be loved for who you are and not somebody else. That's why it's important to understand that these abilities, as great as they are, you cannot adapt them. You can't make them part of who you are, because eventually they're just going to catch up to you. I mean, everything catches up to you eventually, people, when you go out of your character. So you'd slip into shadow functions. So understanding who you are, understanding that you have these proclivities, understanding that these extensions out will lead you there should be enough. You just got to keep in the back of your mind. And ultimately, don't bend for other people. Not to say if you're going to want to hang out with people, if you want your friend group, that is, and you're going to do that, just know that, be yourself. Know that if you're feeling those vibes and emotions, they're not yours. And you don't have to shapeshift. Be accepted for who you are, because you don't want to have to turn into somebody else. And know your limits, obviously. I've said that before. Just we got to know our limits. You can't be the one that's at a party for 3 hours. Maybe you're only good for 45 minutes, only half the time. And you might have to leave and get your rest and get your alone time. So don't overextend yourself out as well. So these are just some of the pitfalls, some of the things to be aware about with our ability to chameleon. Yes, it's one of our blessings. It's one of our amazing gifts that we have, and that we can almost step outside of our comfort zone and become very extroverted. I mean, you may be the type that could just, all of a sudden you're at a party, there's a karaoke machine. You could be the guy up there and, up in front of about 50 people and start of a crowd, and you're karaoke and people are cheering for you. You think, hey, now all of a sudden you feel like you're that extrovert, But it's going to tax on you because you're already changing who you are. I guess ultimately that's what it is, people. You have to just be aware of who you are and know what your limits are. And always keep that in the back of your mind, is to know your limits. All right? And as you get older, of course, you get like fine wine. When you get to be older, you start figuring these things out. But it's for you younger ones especially. Younger INFJs, you have to know this about yourself and know that this is ultimately what you have to do if you want to preserve yourself, is to be yourself. Okay. Well, people, I think I'm going to let that go with that. So that was the segment there. Well, I'm going to say, please subscribe to my channel. And please give me thumbs up and give me some comments. And also watch this video that is in line with this last video that I got right here. All right? And so, I'll see you on the next one. And until then, have yourself a wonderful rest of your day.